Hello, my dear students. I'm Dr. Vaishaly Bharambe. I've been teaching anatomy for the last 25 years and I love it. Today I'm starting my series on chromosomal abnormalities. Okay? So, first question that strikes you is, when is a chromosome said to be abnormal? Okay? So, when there is an abnormality in the number or in the structure or in the arrangement of a chromosome, we call it abnormal chromosome. Okay, so all this will come under the gamut of chromosomal abnormalities. Question is, what are the types of chromosomal abnormalities? The abnormality can be in the structure, it can be in the number. So it can be structural chromosomal anomalies, numerical chromosomal abnormalities. Structural abnormalities, what do you mean by that? Chromosome is broken, some bit is lost, some bit is moved from here to there. All this comes under structural. But if the entire chromosome is lost or an entire chromosome is extra, when the number of chromosomes is changed, then you call it numerical. You are already, I'm sure, aware of 21 trisomy. So this is an example of numerical. Today, I want us to concentrate on the structural chromosomal abnormalities, which are of the following 7 categories. So deletions, ring chromosome, inversion, insertion, duplication, translocation, and isochromosome formation. Out of all this, the first 5 will be covered today. The other 2 will be covered in the second lecture. So let's begin today's lecture, Structural Chromosomal Anomalies Part 1. Right, before I get into this, I want you to understand some very important basics. One is that an abnormality can happen in any cell. But if it happens in a somatic cell, then the person himself or herself suffers from it. But if it happens in a gonadal cell, then it is also passed on to their progeny. Thus, it is very crucial to know in which cell the abnormality has occurred. Clear? Fine. So now question is, why do they really occur? Why don't chromosomes just live their life straightforward? Why do they have abnormalities? They have abnormalities because of something very interesting, students. Chromosomes seem to have a habit of breaking. Okay, so there is a chromosome, it breaks. And when it breaks, okay, it creates sticky ends. So there is one little bit which is sticky and there is one another bit which is sticky. So then the sticky ends stick around here and there. Okay, I've told you in this very, very simplistic manner, but that's the reality, that they break and the broken bits become sticky and they stick around, resulting in new chromosomal formation. One more concept I want you to understand, what is balanced abnormality versus unbalanced abnormality. See, when a chromosome breaks and sticks somewhere else, have I lost any chromosomal bit? No. Have I gained any chromosomal bit? No. So when there is neither loss nor gain of chromosomal material, it is said to be balanced abnormality. But if it broke and it fell off, it was lost, then the amount of chromosomal material is now reduced. It's called as unbalanced chromosomal abnormality. Okay? These are some basics because these terms will come repeatedly and you will begin to wonder, what is she talking about? Fine. So ask yourself, why do chromosomes break? Abnormalities occur because chromosomes break. What is balanced? When there is neither loss nor gain. What is unbalanced? When there is a loss or gain. Fine. Students, if you're enjoying this lecture, you have to like or subscribe to it. That's the only way I will know whether I'm really making a difference in your lives and your knowledge. Fine. Also, one little request. Please put your comments in the comment section. I want to know what is working for you. Fine. Let's talk about the first chromosomal abnormality, deletion. Before I get into this, remember, you have a friend with you always. Who is your friend? I don't want the name of your friend. Your biggest friend is your common sense. Okay? So deletion, what does the word say? There is something which is going to get deleted. Okay? So you already know one sentence of this abnormality, a part of chromosome is going to be deleted. Okay? So use your common sense to come into the topic. Don't just keep on wondering what is she going to say now. It makes no sense to be a passive learner. Fine. So here you are seeing one chromosome. Can you see that it is showing a break here? The distal part of the chromosome now falls off and is lost. What shall I call it? Balanced or unbalanced? Obviously unbalanced. Why does it fall off? It falls off because, as you can see, there is no centromere to it, isn't it? So when it has no centromere, during cell division, it is unable to attach itself to the spindle. If it's not going to get attached to the spindle, it will not enter into cell division at all. So it will be lost. Let's come to the second chromosome now. Can you see that it shows 2 breaks? Right? So out of this, the middle section, the green section, falls off. And the other 2 stick together. Remember sticky chromosomes? So these 2 sticky ends just come and fuse with each other. So there is a loss of a middle portion of a chromosome. Initially, there was loss of the distal portion of the chromosome. When the distal portion is lost, it's called as terminal deletion. When the middle portion is lost, it's called as interstitial deletion. So types of deletions, terminal, interstitial. Fine. Let's continue. What is the consequence of deletion? We understood, ma'am, something is getting broken off and lost. What does it? How does it affect the person? It actually depends upon what is the genetic material lost. Sometimes large loss, no symptoms. Sometimes tiny loss, big symptom. It depends upon what is lost and how much is lost. Okay? But let's come to this condition, Cri-du-chat syndrome. This is part of short arm of chromosome 5 getting deleted. So which chromosome? 5. Which arm? P arm. What is happening? Deletion. So I'm going to write it as 5p minus. Minus means deletion. So Cri-du-chat syndrome is a typical example of deletion. It's written as 5p minus as shown here. Some people also write it as del in bracket 5p. Fine. Ma'am, there is a cat on your screen. What is the cat doing on my screen? Madam never remembers anything. She has forgotten that she is not teaching zoology. She is supposed to be teaching genetics, isn't it? Can you tell me why there is a cat on my screen? There is a cat on my screen because the child that is born with the Cri-du-chat syndrome has the sound, cries like the mewing of a cat. Okay, this child has got underdeveloped larynx, and because of which the sound of crying of this child sounds like the mewing of a cat. This condition is seen 1 in 50,000 cases. What are the other symptoms you will see? There is a very tiny head, microcephaly. There is hypertelorism. There is mental retardation. And characteristic dermatoglyphics, the handprints and the footprints are very typical. Also, unfortunately, these children do not survive beyond. They do not really reach adulthood. This is a very common short note for you students. And the cat was there to remind you to remember that the sound of the child's crying is like the mewing of a cat. Right. So, how will I detect whether the patient is having deletion or not? I can do a karyotyping, or I can do what is called as fish. Suddenly don't think you want to eat now. There's no fish eating here. It is only FISH, fluorescent in situ hybridization technique of testing for deletion. Okay. Finally, there are some other deletion syndromes that you should be able to give examples of, like the Wolf-Hirschhorn syndrome, 18q minus, 18p minus, 13q minus, and so on. There's also something called as a microdeletion. Microdeletion, again your friend, common sense. Yes, little bit of deletion, not a big chunk, a little bit of deletion, a tiny bit of chromosome is lost. Okay. Again, it depends upon what is lost. The symptoms will depend upon what is lost. You can use high resolution banding or fish technique to detect. Now we come to something very interesting. 15q11 to q13, barely 2 bands of chromosome. Okay, lost. And what do you get? You get a Prader-Villi syndrome. See, Prader-Villi syndrome is when there is a microdeletion of 15q11 to q13, but specifically on the paternal chromosome. If it is on the maternal chromosome, the condition is called Angelman syndrome. See how specific the body is. The loss is so tiny. That too if it's from a paternal chromosome, condition is called Prader-Villi syndrome. P for P, Will you remember that? Prader-Villi syndrome, paternal deletion. Angelman syndrome, maternal deletion. Same spot on the chromosome is lost. But if it's on the mother's chromosome, then it's Angelman. If it's on the father's chromosome, it is Prader-Villi syndrome. MCQ. That's what it's going to be asked in, so you remember this. Fine. So we're done with deletion. Let's go to the next type of chromosome abnormality, ring chromosome. Common sense, students? Yes, chromosome is going to look like a ring. Okay, fine. So let's discuss how it happens. See, there is a chromosome. It has bits broken off at both the ends. The remaining chromosome has sticky ends. The chromosome just bends and attaches to itself. You must be thinking, ma'am, I didn't understand. Let's take a look at the image to understand. So can you see one chromosome here? Can you see two breaks? The two distal bits are lost and the chromosome bends on itself to unite to form a ring chromosome. That's how ring chromosomes are formed. So now instead of being a rod-like structure, it's a ring-like structure. Okay. So what is the consequence of the loss? I always tell you, consequence will depend upon what is lost. But ring chromosome is always associated with mental retardation, remember that. But another problem is associated with it, that is abnormal gametes. Let's take a look at how that happens. Now, I want you to pay attention, this is not easy. Okay? In the center here, you can see that there is a ring chromosome. In the periphery here, you are seeing a normal chromosome. You do remember that when chromosomes go into cell division, like pairs with like. I cannot have pairing which goes like this. Okay, I have to have like portion of the chromosome pairing with a like chromosome. Correct? Okay. Now you can see how, when there is gamete formation, the central ring chromosome goes as a ring to the gamete. The outer chromosome, which is not entered into crossing over, goes as a normal chromosome. But the ones that have crossed over, they form an amazingly long chromosome which is dicentric. Come take a look. The chromosome begins from here, continues, crosses over, goes into the ring chromosome and comes out again. So the chromosome that is formed is overlong. It's almost double the normal size and it's dicentric. Did you see that it's got a centromere here and got a centromere here as well? So, in gametogenesis, my ring chromosome landed up creating two abnormal gametes, one normal gamete. What does this mean? It means that this person is very likely to have low fertility because many of his gametes are abnormal. There is only 1 out of 3 chance of his conceiving a normal child, right? So that is how ring chromosomes lead to infertility. Right. As you know, they're always associated with mental retardation. Supposing the ring formation affected the X chromosome specifically, what would happen? Yes, mentally retarded person. To recall, I had taught you earlier, the ring chromosome always looks large. The sex chromatin in that ring chromosome always looks large. So you can even see the bar body to tell whether the person is having a ring chromosome or not. And lastly, for some reason, these people are Turner's syndrome. These people are suffering from Turner's syndrome. Okay? So this is what ring X is all about. I have a question for you. If you think that patient looks like a Turner's, and will that person with a ring X chromosome have a normal chromosomal number or an 45 chromosomal number? I want you to think about this. Looks like a Turner's. You check the chromosomal number. Will you find 45 there or 46 there in the presence of a ring chromosome? Think about it. Right. So with this we complete ring chromosome. Comes as a short note for you. Let's talk about inversion. This time do I have to remind you to use your common sense? No. You don't have to think. Inversion means that whatever is your chromosome, okay, some portion of it has got inverted. How? Come, let's take a look. So there will be 2 breaks. The middle portion will come out. It will rotate and go back. Inversion. Take a look. In the first case, you can see that there are two breaks. The middle portion has got removed and is rotating. Did you see how it rotated? Now it goes and gets attached in the same place. But there is a reversal in the chromosomal chronology. The loci are changed now. Because this is not involving the centromere, it is called as paracentric inversion. Either P arm shows this inversion or the Q arm. Both arms are not affected. Fine. Let's take another situation where again there are two breaks, but it is on either side of the centromere. Again the chromosomal bit rotates. It gets inserted in the same place, but again the order of chronology of the genes is affected. Okay, but this is on either side of the centromere. This is called as pericentric. Both P arm and Q arm are affected. Got it? So inversions are of two types: paracentric, pericentric. In paracentric, either P or Q are affected. In pericentric, both P and Q are affected. What happens in gametogenesis? This is amazing. I hope you enjoy it as much as I do. Now, like has to pair with like. Middle portion is inverted. So what the chromosome does is it forms a loop on itself, trying to pair like with like. Take a look at how that happens. Can you see that the outer normal chromosome is capital A, B, C, D, E, F, G, H. And the inner one is showing AB, inverted segment, G, F, E, D, C, and then H. So it has formed a loop so that like pairs with like. If you see carefully, you will see that the small g is pairing with the capital G, small f is pairing with capital F, and so on. Gamete formation is there's crossing over, and one normal chromosome of the outside, A, B, C, D, E, F, G, H, one abnormal with inversion, A, B, G, F, E, D, C. So there is an inversion, but there's a balanced inversion. Okay, this is a balanced gamete. Although it is abnormal, it is balanced. There's no loss or there's no gain. But the new chromosomes that are now formed beyond this are something very peculiar. There is one chromosome that is dicentric here and one chromosome which is acentric. It has no centromere at all. Okay, so this is how the gametes that are formed are abnormal. Okay, one normal, one abnormal but balanced, and two completely short abnormal. Okay, so now what happens? This person is now reproductively inferior to the general population. His chances of giving his or her chances of giving birth to a normal child are reduced. There is very high for infertility happening. So inversion results in some gametes which are normal, some gametes which are acentric and therefore lost, and some gametes which show duplication and deletion. Let's go back to my earlier slide. I want to show you duplication. Can you see that in this chromosome, I can see two of A and B. I can see one A here, one A here, B here, one A here, one B here. So there is a clear case of duplication. Who is missing? The H is completely missing, isn't it? There's no H here at all. So there is part duplication, part deletion happening in this kind of gametogenesis. Right. This is associated with severe form of hemophilia, which is a factor 8 gene abnormality. So with this we come to insertion, which is my next abnormality. Now I don't have to tell you that some bit is removed and is inserted inside another chromosome or the same chromosome. Okay, so let's do this. I can see this chromosome here. I can see so many breaks in it. 1, 2, 3. The GH portion moves out and gets attached to the AB portion. The CDEH-EF portion now gets inserted somewhere more distally. Okay, so this is insertion. It can get inserted like this. It can get inserted with a rotation or inversion. Got it? So this is insertion. The game remains exactly the same. There can be inversion in it. The story is that the abnormality is balanced. However, the phenotype of the person will remain unaffected because there is no loss or gain. But problem? Gametes are abnormal. The gametes are abnormal. This is again something that's going to lead to infertility in parents. Okay. Finally, we come to the last topic for the day, which is duplication. Students, do you need me to teach you this? By now, you already have grasped the concept that in a gamete, if one gene, one portion of a chromosome is present more than once, or in a zygote, it is more than twice, then it is called as a duplication. In a gamete, every chromosomal bit should be only once. In a zygote, it should be only twice. But when it is more than twice in a zygote or more than once in a gamete, you're going to call it duplication. Okay? Effects of this, see, you should understand that normally we have only one set of every chromosome in a gamete. Okay, and one set is coming from one gamete, one set coming from the other gamete. So you develop two. But if one gamete is carrying one gamete is carrying two, then you will end up having three of it in the zygote, which is trisomy, isn't it? So duplications may lead to partial trisomy, okay, and that is something that will have its own repercussions, okay. So that is how we have now completed 5 chromosomal abnormalities today. Question is, why do they really occur? What is the cause of chromosomal abnormalities? The causes are 1. Spontaneous. Now remember, this is a slide you will use for describing every chromosomal abnormality. It's a common slide to all those 5. If you have a short note deletion, you write about this. If you have a short note of ring chromosome, you still write about this. Okay. Another is when you are facing ionizing radiations. What happened in Hiroshima and Nagasaki when the atom bomb was landed there? This so much ionizing radiation was, the people were exposed to it, that it resulted in so many chromosomal abnormalities. Also, some viruses cause abnormalities. Some chemical carcinogens, which is what we are fighting when we say that don't release your effluents from factories into water. What are we saying? These are carcinogens. They will affect the general public, okay, by creating chromosomal abnormalities. Or late maternal and paternal age. That's why so often there are abnormal babies born in parents who have pregnancies late in life. And finally, some genes themselves cause these abnormalities, such as the non-disjunction gene. MCQ. Following is a chromosomal abnormality seen in Prader-Villi syndrome. I'm not going to see. I know I'm going to look for abnormality in the paternal chromosome. Is it there? Yes. Microdeletion in 15q11 to q13, paternal chromosome. So B is the answer. Sometimes just knowledge helps you to come to the right answer quickly. Individual with a ring X. This is very interesting. See if you can solve it. Individual with a ring X chromosome may have all the following except. Now ask yourself, individual with a ring X will have a large bar body, will have features of Turner syndrome, will have mental retardation. Will they have a decrease in chromosomal number? Think about it. Fine. So if you've enjoyed this lecture, students, do like and subscribe to my channel. Thank you. I loved taking this class. I hope you enjoyed it too. I hope it helps you to address all those short notes that come very often on structural chromosomal anomalies. See you across the screen in some other video. Bye.